Welcome, 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 everyone. It is Thursday. Mm, another double shift day, but you know how it is. You know how we roll. This morning, listen to this. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. Oh, yes. Deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable state. Will directs attention. Attention changes the vibration. If you pay attention, you'll physically notice when you change from one state to another. Vibration. You know, that's a very popular catchphrase these days out in the world. Oh my God, you gotta change your vibration. You gotta raise your vibration. So when do we ever lower it? Oh my. You see, everything moves. Nothing stands still, including the mood, your mood or mental state. Your mood or your mental state, your mental attitude, your mindset. Different words, same meaning. So to change your mood, deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable state. And notice how it doesn't say to be more positive, have a positive attitude. No, sometimes when you move yourself from one mental state to another, it could be moving yourself from sadness to anger. Well, how so? Would anger be better? It depends. It just depends on what your present mood is. Look at depression. You don't do anything when you're depressed. You just keep going in circles, right? You just keep going in circles. But to break through it, anger would be necessary. Because you get mad at where you're at and you say, oh, enough. I'm tired of being sick and tired. And the anger is very helpful. It will move you so that you get up and you clean your space. Because if you look at one of the expressions of depression, sometimes they don't do their basic things, brush your teeth, clean your face, shower. They don't do those things sometimes because there's no desire to. But to change from that mental state to one where you get up, you will need something intense to make you move. And anger usually will do that because it is like this beautiful fire, anger. It is. It burns, yes? But if you direct it in the direction of your change, then is it bad? No. See, we judge a little bit too much, yes? If you use your anger as fuel to make you get out of bed, clean up your room, shower, comb your hair, do your basic grooming, and get outside, job well done. You actually did what you would call a mental transmutation. You used what would have been destructive and you made it constructive. What's the difference between the two? You know when they say somebody went postal? Funny, we have a postal strike at the moment, but hey, that's another day. So you know when they say someone went postal and they just lost they crashed out? That would be anger in a not so good direction because it was harmful to you as well as others. This is how you can tell the difference. But if you use that same anger to shovel the walkway, to mow the grass, You moved yourself in the direction. So mentally, you moved. Mentally, you moved, and physically, you followed. Because physical always follows mental. This is why Neville Goddard can be so brazen as to say, you do not have to lift a finger to change your life. Change your mental state. They're just different places that you walk through, different doors that you go in. I like to say different articles of clothing that you put on. Because then you get a different attitude. And you know as well as I know, if some fellas, if they put that particular hat on and they tilt it to the side, they change their whole swagger. Some people put grills in their mouths. You change your whole swagger altogether. See, you changed your mental state, thereby your thoughts will change naturally on their own. And this is why sometimes when I tell you to watch your thoughts, capture them, it will show you what your mood is. Not so you can change your thoughts, because that's like spitting in the wind. Change the mental. Why? Because the all is mind. The universe is mental. So if you're struggling with your mood today, if you feel like you have a low vibration today, turn your attention, let me read it to you again, to change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. Deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable state. Well, that is step 2, is it not? Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That's a different state. Now we go through states like, we go through candy, if you like candy. We go through states like anything that is your favorite thing. You gotta have it. We move through states all day, every day. Pardon me, but the key here is to be deliberate. You be deliberate about the state. Be deliberate about your state. You do not wait until, oh my God, I'm having a crap day. No, you don't wait till you have a crappy day. You prevent a crappy day. Hello? How does one prevent a crappy day? By selecting the state or by deliberately fixing your attention upon a more desirable state. We don't avoid, we what? You don't avoid things. You acknowledge them. So if you say, I want to have a great day today, that's all fine and good. But what is the mental state of a good day? What is the mental state of a great day? That is what you choose. You choose that mental state and you walk in it. You fix your attention upon it because will directs attention. You just say, oh, look, I am turning myself towards this state. That's your willpower right there. I'm turning myself towards this state. And you name that state. A state of fun, a state of relaxation, a state of ease. Well, then, if you're walking in a state of ease, remember step 2. Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. So if that state, what is that state of ease then? You know, because that means you can see it in your mind's eye what that behavior is that represents ease, that shows you the state you're in. This is why the third dimension is important. Because when you can see yourself, you'll know what state you're in. You see yourself, you say, oh, I'm in that state, am I? Yikes. And you get to the point where you don't even need to see the state. You select the state. But in the beginning, sometimes can be a little bit rough to start because we've never done it before. You watch yourself. And by watching it, you don't judge the self, you just watch it. Watch what you're doing, and you will clearly see your mental state. And when you see your mental state, you will understand why you are having the experiences you are having. And when you can see why you're having the experiences you're having, you can say, whoa, wait a minute. Let me stop being unwitting, meaning let me stop being tossed to and fro. But let me be deliberate. Let me be deliberate. Let me deliberately change my mental state. Because you know what? I want to have ... kind of day. This is how we do the things we do deliberately. And this is why I say you will start to recognize that you're no longer being bent to and fro, tossed here and there, hither and yon by the moods of others. You're not going to get that happening to you anymore because deliberately you are selecting your mood, your mental state. And when you select the mental state, my beautiful friend, you prevent yourself from being influenced by the mental state of others. And if you prevent yourself from being, influenced by the mental state of others, well, then you know exactly the kind of day you're going to have. So when you hear something on the radio, you don't go, oh my God. No, you don't have to respond in that fashion because it doesn't even register to you. Why not? Because your mind is full with your deliberate state. And if your mind is full of your deliberate state, nothing else can penetrate you. Hello? Okay. So today, my beautiful friends, what mood are you in? If you do not know what your mood is, look at how you feel. And if you say to me, Angela, I don't know how I feel, look at what you're doing. Just look at what you're doing. Are you banging things? Are you stomping? Are you dragging? Are you skipping? What are you doing? What you're doing will tell you the mood you're in. You see, we can't lie to ourselves. Oh, can't lie to yourself. We sure do try, don't we? We try. And we say things like, I want more money. I'm tired of being broke. But every time you go somewhere, oh, I can't afford that. I can't pay for that. Oh, every time you have to spend money, you're, oh, what am I going to do? You're worried. If you pay attention, you will see what mood you're in. And when you catch yourself being that way and worrying and fretting, now you can say, wait a minute. What is the mental state of someone who does not worry about money? What is their mental state? What is their mental state? What does that mean to you? If you don't have to worry about money, if you don't have to fret about it, well, you're laid back, aren't you? There's some sense of, I want to say arrogance. There is. Because you don't have to, you could go anywhere and get anything. So there's a sense of, man, I can walk in here and do whatever I need to do. Some would call it arrogance. Some would call it confidence. Just depends on who's looking. It just depends on what mental state you are looking through, whether you will see having money as arrogance or confidence or ease. Oh my goodness. See, so you choose your mental state. And when you choose your mental state and you start to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, and you start walking in there, you're going to realize how good that feels. Naturally, the feeling accompanies that state. You don't have to force the feeling, get in the state, and the feeling emerges. I keep telling you, it's just like foreplay. Because it is. You're in a mood. So when you're in that mood, how do you behave? You turn the lights down, you put something soft on, or you don't put anything on at all. You might have something sparkly. Who knows? There may be confetti, there may be strewn rose petals, who knows? But whatever you're doing is going to match the mental state, aka mood, aka the vibration. The vibration is felt. So that's going to tell you that your mood is felt. And we tend to get into the habit of feeling a particular mood so much that it becomes our habitual feeling. And the habitual feeling that is running in the background, the mental state that's running in the background, is what you will experience. So you see, mood or mental state or mindset is not some willy-nilly thing we take for granted, my friends. We do not take it for granted. Oh, I just feel this way right now. Oh. No, you don't take that for granted. Because it is that mood, that mental state, that mental attitude, that mindset that will dictate. Because remember, everything flows from there. Whatever that state is has to show itself. So it will show itself in the way of your thoughts. It will show itself in the way of your words. It will show itself in the way of your actions. Thereby your experiences, ta-da, and then your destiny. All from the what? Mental state, mood, mindset, mental attitude. It all stems from there. Because it is the seed. And you know as well as I know that that which is planted must be reaped. You don't hope for carrots while you plant beets. So select the mental state and the fruit comes out of it. You don't have to force it to grow. Just choose the state. Deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable. And how do you know it's more desirable? Because it feels. It feels. It feels. It feels. So as you feel, then that is how you will act. Hello? So today, my beautiful friends, who's on time? I am on time, yes. And it feels great. It feels great. So as you and I go out there in the world today, remember Marky Mark. Let's pull a Marky Mark. Just a good vibration. Remember vibration today. And remember how to change it. We do not force the vibration to change. We deliberately fix our attention upon a more desirable mental state. A state of what? Wealth is a state. Health is a state. Health, you say? It sure is. You get sick. How do you feel? Um, It has a state. Health has a state. Sickness has a state. They're all states. But you see, we just say them and they're just words to us. But perhaps if you recognize that the word that you say has to express itself the way it feels, well, then you'll know. Good morning, handsome. Ow. Good morning, handsome. You'll know that that state you're in, that vibration that you're feeling, has ways of expressing itself. So when you look at the expression, meaning the effect, the thing that you experience, the behavior, when you look at that, dun, 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 it tells you the mood, the mental state. So that you, before you make a decision, you'll ask yourself, where am I making this decision from? What state am I making this decision from? Am I making this decision from a state of desperation? Well, how would you know? We all know what desperation feels like. We know the kinds of actions that desperation presents itself as. So we will notice before we make that choice, we'll ask ourselves, wait a minute, what is that mental state that I'm making this choice from? Because many of us don't check that mental state and we make decisions from there and we're like, how did I get here? How did this happen to me? Why? These are the things we say. But if we would pay attention to the mental state, the mental attitude, the mindset, the mood, if we paid attention to that, you'd know why you choose the same type of man. Because you're in the same mood all the time. You're in the same mental state all the time. And what is that state? Dissatisfaction. You think you get up and you put clothes on every day because you just do and they're in your closet? No, my darling. You put on the colors you put on based upon what now? Your vibration, the way you feel, the mental state, the mental mood. That is how we make choices. We eat the things we eat based upon the what? The vibration, the mental mood, the mental state. You speak to someone. How? From your mental mood, your mental state, a state of grumpiness. Well, that should tell you how you're going to talk to somebody. Man, you hear things like, not today, devil. You mess with me, you're going to catch these hands. You think that's a great mood? You think that's a great mental state? No, you're angry. That's the state you're in. So today, my beautiful friends, 5 minutes remaining. I will read it to you again because it is from the Kabbalion. You know, that's what we study around here. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. Deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable state. Will directs attention. Your will is to say, oh, I'm going to look over here instead. That is your will. Attention changes the vibration. The Kabbalion. Attention changes the vibration. Oh, well, then you would understand social media. You're scrolling. You've given something your attention. Attention changes the vibration. So whatever that thing is that you participate in as you scroll, you are changing your vibration to match its vibration. Hello. Let me say it to you again. When you scroll, it has a vibration. And you and I, we bend to match that vibration instead of having our own vibration that causes other things to bend to us. Which one do you want to be at the mercy of? Your own selected vibration or the vibration of another? This is why I say, if you master the art of deliberately changing your mental state, you will realize, let me put it to you this way, algorithm. You ever look at your timeline and you say, oh my God, what is this on my timeline? Ugh. It got on your timeline because of your mental state, your mental attitude, which did what? Which caused you to search something because you heard about it. It caused you to look for something. Yes. So now your home page, your wall is filled with those things because it wasn't just a one-off, you know? You participated. Maybe you commented under the video. Who knows? But those things that influence the algorithm is influenced by your mental state. It is your mental state that caused you to choose these things to look for and look at. And you'll realize that sometimes we'll say to ourselves, oh my God, I got to take a social media break. So when you take a social media break, what are you doing? Deliberately fixing your attention upon something what? More desirable. But that is exactly what you're doing because you don't like what you see there. But we don't realize that what we see there is a reflection of our mental state. The effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. So that's why I say, if you are the one to select your mental state, then the things, Dr. Wayne Dyer, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. Change the way, yes, change your mental state, change your mental attitude, change your mood. It is this path of least resistance. It is the path that takes the least amount of work and effort to change your mood. Changing your thoughts, oh, they're like stray cats. The minute you get one in the bag, three pop out, and you're like, forever chasing them. It is tiresome to change your thoughts. But if you can comprehend that the thought follows the mental attitude, mental mood, mental state, mindset. And some people would say, well, oh, that's just new age talk. You go out there and you have a good day. And then you'll meet people and you'll have a smile, yeah? And the person who comes along and they're cranky, they don't affect you all that much. You go, oh, what's wrong with you? Who peed in your cornflakes, sir? That's what you'll say. But you won't lose yourself. On the other hand, if you are cranky and persnickety and cantankerous and ornery, see that state? That's a fighting state. Oh, yes, it is. And it doesn't matter who you come across. This will be you growling at them, angry, face set up like rain. That's just your mental state. It's just a pair of shoes, y'all. It's just a jacket. If you don't like that jacket, Pop a different one on. It is only a state. You are not beholden to any state. You can choose the state, the mental attitude, the mindset, the mood. You can change them. And if you change, or when you change them, the external will change to match. But then here comes this little tiny word called persistent. Are you persistent? You're just going to change. Listen, persistently we brush our teeth, don't we? Don't we? You want to walk out in them streets? Oh, all I can see is flies. Buzz, buzz. No. Persistently we get up and we bathe. So you persistently get up and select the mood deliberately. That is your superpower. Listen, I saw this young feller. He was asking ChatGPT these questions. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, do we truly understand ChatGPT though? Do we get it yet? Okay. ChatGPT crawls the internet and it looks for the answer based upon your question. And he said he gave it rules, okay, by which to answer his questions. And I'm like, dude, all you're doing is sending it out to find information. And our minds are blown because it comes back with the information that is already there. Why did I tell you that? Because it is your mental mood, your mental attitude, your mindset that influences the questions that you ask. There's nothing else to tell you. You do not have to suffer with loneliness. You don't have to force anybody to like you. Get in the state of well-loved. What is the state of well-loved? When I say to you, you are a well-loved man or a well-loved woman, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you? Well, then that first thing that comes to mind for you, pay attention now. If you say, well-loved my Irish, that's not possible. Ain't nobody gonna well-love you. Can't make you. I can't make you love me if you don't, right? There's no such thing. Oh, so your state of well-loved is one of disdain? And you wonder why you're single? Because the state. What does a well-loved man behave like? What does a well-loved woman behave like? What does a well-loved child behave like? What does a well-loved plant behave like? It blossoms, it blooms, it flowers. It is confident, is it sure of itself? Yes. So those actions that represent well-loved go to how it makes you feel. If I say to you, you are well-loved. You're well-loved. Somebody got up that morning and thought of you and said, hey, sugar. I was thinking about you, so I made you some hot cocoa. I sure did. Oh, look. Is that a rose for you? Oh, yes, it is. Let me rub your feet. Let me brush your hair. Let me just sit here and look at you. Let me just hug you. Tell me about your day. All of those things represent the state of well-loved. Well, then, to change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. Deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable state. Will directs attention. Your will, when you apply it, it says, you know what? I am going to walk today. I'm going to walk through the world today like a well-loved person. Which means I'm appreciated. And people show me their appreciation. And I say, oh, yeah, that's me. That is my state of well-loved. And that is how you walk through the day. And remember, we cannot sustain a state indefinitely. We can't hold it 365, 24/7, 366. No, we can't. However, we can do what? Create a habit of that state. Meaning you do it the same way every time. And when you do a habit, you become very efficient at what you do. A habit is simply a neurological pathway that you set down in your brain so that the next time you think of, oh my God, I'm a well-loved woman. Well, I'm a well-loved man. That's my girl. And you pound your chest. You know how men do. You know how women do. We blush and we go, tee-hee, right? Now, mentally, you set down a neurological pathway so that the next time you think of well-loved, you will only behave in that state because that is the state you habitually put yourself in versus the state of, there's no good women in the world. She's for the streets. There's no good men in the world. They think every woman's a gold digger. See that mental state? That has its own neurological pathway. And that's why you talk the way you do. That's why you act the way you do because you're from that state. So you and I, when we select our state deliberately, our mental mood deliberately, it's not enough to say, I want to be rich. What's the mental state of rich? What is the mental attitude of rich? As we say in Barbados, ooh, you're pomposetting. Hey. Pomposetting. Ooh, that's a word I tell you. What does it mean, though? We think that rich means to flaunt. Oh, I got me a Bentley. I got me this, I got me. We think that's what rich means. Whereas wealthy, Neville Goddard said something very important. He said, invest. Don't spend, invest. So you see that new mental mood that you choose, it is an investment. Now, what kind of investment are you going to make? One that pays a dividend. But of course, investing is mutually beneficial. But to just spend, shoot, that is fleeting. You don't really get a return on that. So your mood, invest. Invest the chosen mood, the chosen state, because it gives you something back. It feeds you. So this is why we become deliberate in choosing the mental mood. Oh my God, I am so over time. Let's welcome everybody who's here. Miss Liza, darling. Calling Miss Liza. Are you here, darling, in these YouTube streets? Is the better man here in these YouTube streets? How about Ray of Sunshine? Oh, oh Yoda Green, hello. I see you in these Twitter streets. It is lovely to see you as always. Who's kicking it with us on Fanbase? Oh, your girl has to scroll. Blessings Jones. Hello, darling. I see you. I see all of you from that PTR. I see you. Lance, darling. Hello. Moon and Dolphin Duck. Casey, my sweet. Ray Ray. Ray Ray is in the house. Big Mike. I can't even say that with my chest because it don't go that low. Big Mike is in the house. He is. Say hello to the Mrs. Big Mike. Hello. Miss McQueen, darling. I see you. Libra season. I see you, girl. Listen, thank you all for being here on this glorious Thursday. Remember what you are doing today. You are pulling a Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch today. Yes, you are. What does that mean? It means you are checking what? Just a good vibration. Just a sweet sensation. Right? You're checking your vibration. Why? Because to change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. Deliberately fix your attention upon a more desirable state. Will directs attention. Attention changes the vibration. The Kabbalion. Because if you pay attention, you'll physically notice when you change from one state to another. You will physically notice it. Because a state, what is the state of well-loved? What is the state of health? The state of health has behaviors. Look at that and put yourself in that state. But don't just put yourself in that state for 2 seconds and say, that's good enough. You don't need to do it for tomorrow. You get up and you brush your teeth every day. I would like to hope so. Hmm? As they say in Jamaica, you brush your teeth from morning. That's for you, Scotch bonnet. You brush your teeth from morning. Oh, Lord, help me. Oh, people had a way. Oh, people had a way to tell you that your mouth was just. Well, check your mood. It's the same thing. Does it smell nice? Because if that mood smells nice, hello. People will say, oh my God, you smell amazing. And they get close and they sniff you. They want to be in your company. That mood is exactly the same thing. So as Miss Liza tells you, make it a great mood day. You are always welcome, dearest Liza. So don't let me hold you up, because I got to get to work. I got to get to work. But you know how it is. Your mental mood. Your mental mood dictates your thoughts. So stop trying to. They're like fireflies, man. You can't catch them. Those thoughts. The mood is much more solid, though. You can grasp that. And it is far easier. And don't you want an easier life? I sure as heck know that I do. One that is just ease, yes. So I get into that mental state of having a life of ease and beauty and rest and relaxation and lots of hugs and kisses. Ow, ow. I want that. So I get in the mood of it. And I persist in that mood. Why? The principle of correspondence tells us, as within, so without. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oracle Treehouse. Honey. Hey, y'all. Thank you for spending this time with me this morning. And if you don't yet have your deck of Hermetic Oracle Cards, exactly what are you waiting for? Hmm? What are you waiting for, darling? If you're on Fanbase, it is the link on top of the page. If you already prepaid, it's coming. I will take that time on the weekend because I got to sit down and get all the addresses and the zip codes and work out all the shipping and send it out to you. So that's on Saturday. On YouTube, it's the first link in the description. Twitter, I'll post it for you guys again today. Get your deck. You pull one every day, and it's not dictating what your future is. You don't ask it what your future is. You just pull. And just like you heard today, because this is how I do it, it reminds me of the law, the principles, so that I am ever deliberately living instead of unwittingly living. And we can change, each and every one of us. We can change. Because it's just a mood, yes? What, you thought it was something else? No, my darling, it is just a mood. It is just a mental state. It is just a mindset. Mwah! I love you. I'll see you again right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, Monday, I'm chillaxing. It's Thanksgiving for us. So I'm taking a little bit of a breather that day because I don't have to work that day. So we gonna cook in this house and probably make some apple cider. Who knows? Y'all, who knows? I love you though. Truly I do. Go forth and remember, just a good vibration. Mwah.